Good day, Charlotte and Comcast 613. This week, I'm your host, Tanisha Walker, on Book Review. The book we will review this week is titled Engage, Revised and Updated by Brian Salas, the complete guide for brands and businesses to build, cultivate, and measure success in the new way. So let's begin, shall we? As I mentioned, the author Brian Salas, who's published by John Wiley and Sons out of Hoboken, New Jersey, is a 20-year marketing vet who dedicated 14 years specifically to the practice of and experimentation in online interaction. His findings are based solely on the chemistry of failure, success, and ambiance. Let me point out briefly there is a foreword by Ashton Kutcher, co-founder of Catalyst, and Ashton states, "As we engage, we learn, and learning is what it's all about. This is our time, your time. Engage." So let's engage, shall we? Uh, Brian Salas does a great job in the very beginning of the book, making certain that his readers are engaged. There's one thing in particular that struck me was that the enthusiasm and the tone, the energy of the book was leaping out of the pages. Mr. Salas challenges his readers to not just be bystanders on social media, but he wants you to be champions of social media. Be the ones leading the charge in creativity, leading the conversations, helping the audience or the customers be able to go ahead and decide which path they should take. I thought this was an interesting concept because when he breaks down what he considers a bystander on social media, I found myself falling into some of those categories. Let me give you an example. He mentions a bystander on social media may be one who has a Facebook account but may not actively post, may watch posts of other people but not really do much posting themselves. And I found that at times, due to my schedule, that I could be considered a bystander on social media. However, he stated that those who are really passionate about trying to make a difference on social media and engaging with people have to make their presence known, have to have genuine conversations with their audience in order to get an understanding as to what the needs of the audience is and how it can be met. Now, from the standpoint of a marketer or an advertiser or just a business person in general, this information is mind blowing because it can definitely help one's business grow if you're able to identify one, who your audience is, and two, what's going to engage them and help them make decisions about whatever the product may be. But he describes the fact that you should not have conversations geared specifically towards marketing people because people they don't want to feel as if they're just being probed to buy something. They want to be able to have their needs genuinely met and have honest dialogue. Sometimes the dialogue might not be positive, but you still are supposed to engage with your consumer in order to make certain that their needs are heard. So I found that that was a welcoming path because it's a little bit different than traditional marketing. And most businesses, I feel, can definitely benefit from something like that. Um, Going forward, he does mention unmarketing. Unmarketing is basically what I've just mentioned, not having specific dialogue geared towards trying to sell your audience something. He's he's been able to prove throughout his research that that has been the most successful method of genuine marketing, whether businesses realize that or not. So, all throughout the book, I'd have to say his theme has been challenging, making certain that the reader understands the differences between marketing and also how to go ahead and gauge the success of getting your brand out there. He gives great tools and research on how to quantify um, the various social media tools out there. When I say quantify, if you were to go on to a Twitter site, how many tweets could actually generate money. He does break down the monetary aspect of that as well, which I thought was pretty interesting. Me being new to all of the social media out there, I knew that people were making money on the web, but this was a great way for me to understand specifically how they were able to make money on the web. Um, there's also some interesting tips that he provides in regards to uh, the social behavior change framework. When I say that, it's basically applied to marketers and advertisers in four stages of how to measure their individual's change. For example, one is interest, attention, desire, and action. However, when he uses this type of framework, it's from the perspective of using it on the marketer or the advertisers, making certain that they change their mind frames, change the way that they respond while they're engaging their audience. Um, Even though it was a pretty good read, especially for someone who may be new to communications or someone who's pursuing their MBA, I felt that it was a little lacking in substantial studies and research by other scholars. I felt that it was a one-sided conversation based upon his work. However, he doesn't mislead anyone in the beginning. He states that clearly that it's based on 14 years of his research with online interaction. But overall, I believe that Mr. Sauce did a very good job of making certain that his audience was able to go ahead and relate to the various methods of social.